Welcome to Creative Tien channel. Today we are going to use knitting machine to knit a skirt. I have my brother 260 bulky knitting machine, and I'm going to use half-fisherman's rib stitch. And I did a sample here. This is one side, that's the other side. You can decide which side you like to use as a front. I'm going to use this side as a front because of the texture. I like the vertical line because it will make you look skinnier. My design is very simple. Basically, it's two rectangles. One is about 20 inches wide and 22 inches high. And of course, you can adjust the length. Depends on your own preference. So this rectangle piece will be half fisherman's rib. And then I will add a little piece here. That's the plain stockinette stitch. And I'm going to fold in and add elastic for the waistband so it will last longer without stretching out of shape. And after I knit the front and back, I can just seam the side and maybe leave a little slit or the vent on the side. And that's optional. The yarn I'm using is a Karen Skinny Cake, and this is a type 3 category yarn, light. That's more like a DK or sports weight yarn. It's a little bit smaller than the worsted weight. And I really like the color for the springtime. For this sample, I tried tension 3 and 2, and I like tension 2 better because it's tighter. And I really don't want to have holes when you are wearing a skirt. So I'm going to use number 2 for my main tension for both knitter and ribber. And this is my elastic for the waistband. It's a Dries 1.5 inch soft waistband. I like it wider, like 1.5 inch. It will look nicer. So the starting of the half fisherman's rib is the same with the 1x1 ribbing. I will start by setting the pitch to P3. And I set up my knitter and the ribber like 1x1 ribbing every other needle. I start from the left 47 on the knitter until the right 48 on my knitter. And I'll keep the end needle on the knitter. I use a little bit less than my calculation because I don't have an extender to park my carriage, and because the knit is very stretchy, so it's okay to be a little bit smaller. Now we set up the carriage. For the knitter, it's plain knitting and set it to tension 0. And for the ribber, we set it to the lowest tension too, which is a star. And I keep this one on 2, so it's a little bit tighter at the beginning. And everything else is for plain knitting. Now we can thread the yarn and knit 1 row. And then we set up our cast on comb, and we'll need a very long cast on comb. Drop down a little bit. It's easier to put the cast on comb. Now I hang the cast on comb. I can start the 3 selvage rows. And here is a setup for the selvage row. The tension set to 0 and 0, and the knitter side part on the left, and the ribber side part on the right. Tension 0, part left, and tension 0, and part right. Now we are ready to knit 3 rows. After the 3 selvage row, we can start the half fisherman's rib. And the book says we should use a L-shape hanger and add some weight on each side of the knitting. Set the tension to your main tension. And knitter is for plain knitting, and for the ribber we set this level to P, and PR partial knitting on the right side. And you can also turn this handle to 1. My main tension will be 2. Set it to number 2. Cancel the part. For the rebar, it will be number 2 too. And move this one to the P for the tuck stitch. And the right side stays in the PR. And for the button handle, you can slide it to 1, so it's a little bit looser. So I changed my counter back to 000, and I'm going to need about 190 rows, or the length you like. So I'm just going to knead back and forth now. Almost forgot to hang my L-shaped wire. You just hang away below on both sides. Now I need 170 row. I think it's long enough. And I'm going to transfer all the rebar stitches to the knitter, and then we will need a waistband. So this is one of the finished panels. I still have it on the cast on comb. I need about 170 rows, and I have plain stockinette stitches. I try to use smaller tension, and I take it off with a few rows of waste yarn. So I'm just going to fold it back like that and create a channel so I can put my elastic there. And I will sew up the bottom here, and then sew up 2 sides. Now we need both front and back piece. We can start sewing it up. Before we turn in and sew the end, we want to make sure we have our elastic ready. And I just cut a piece of elastic the size of your waist, and depends on how tight you want. I overlay about 1 inch and just sew it so it's secure. And you can just place elastic inside the flap and then sew up the bottom, and then that's it. We can turn it inside out and you can try it on.